guys, welcome to another video on career solutions by Aashna Jain. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing that how much money can you earn right after you graduate out of a law school in India specifically. I'm not only going to discuss about salaries that law firms give, I will also discuss other avenues of earning a decent salary in India if you are a law graduate. And yes, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do so. Subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon, it will mean the world to me. Thank you so much. Alright, so let's start with tier 1 law firms. Now, of course, tier 1 law firms are the ones who have the maximum number of clients, maximum number of employees, who have good transactions and deals in their kitty, and that's why they are tier 1. A lot of law firms are tier 1 in all of their practice areas, and some law firms are tier 1 in some of the practice areas. So we are taking a generalist view of how tier 1 law firms are paying salaries. Now, according to my sources of what I've spoken to the HRs, I've spoken to a lot of recruitment specialists, I've also spoken to a lot of recruitment agencies. They've given me a ballpark figure that these days tier 1 law firms are paying somewhere around 11 to 14.5 lakhs per annum, which is much lower than the pre-COVID times when the average ballpark figure was 15 to 17 lakhs per annum. Right now, like I said, it's 11 to 14.5 lakhs per annum. Some law firms still have, exceptionally, they give you 15, 16 and 17 lakhs. 17 is very unheard of. But yes, the fixed component of your salary is 11 to 14.5 lakhs per annum plus the bonus. Now, bonus is also again further divided into two subcategories, which is the fixed bonus and the variable bonus. Fixed bonus is usually like 2 to 3 salaries extra that you get. So like say if your salary is 50,000 rupees per month, you will get 3 extra salaries in the entire year. You can get say 1 in March and 2 around Diwali time, right? So that's one thing, that's a part of the fixed component. That's not actually given by a lot of law firms, but yes, whenever given by any law firm, the fixed component is usually 2 to 3 salaries. The variable component, on the other hand, is something very interesting and is a little arbitrary in my understanding. So like say the senior associates and the principal associates in these law firms are also expected to bring business to the team, are also expected to bring in clients for the team, because it's understood that if you are a part of say the industry, you would have developed some connections and you would be in a position to bring in business. So as much business you bring to the team, you get a bonus accordingly. Secondly, it's based on your performance, how you've performed in the team, how many billable hours you've contributed to any ongoing project, etc. So some percentage is decided on that. Thirdly, it's generally also based on team's performance, that how many projects has the team collectively churned out in the year, how many billable hours have we contributed to, how much revenue generation have we generally contributed to as a team, and then the bonus gets decided on that. And lastly, the variable component is dependent on the firm's performance also. So like say if a firm has generated exceptionally good revenue in the year, everybody gets a good bonus. If the firm has not performed decently, then of course, the bonus comes down. So this is how the fixed component of the salary is, which is 11 to 14.5 or 15 lakhs per annum. Then comes the bonus, which also has fixed and variable component. Fixed is 2 to 3 salaries and variable is, like we decided, on the basis of the business that you bring in and on the basis of the performance. Now this entire bonus can somewhere be around 2 to 5 lakhs per annum. It depends on how much and how much can you negotiate and how good you are at negotiating, right? Now, of course, the bonus component and the salary component differs at different levels. Like say when you become a senior associate, principal associate, partner, definitely all of that is very different. But as of now, the scope of today's video is only fresher related salaries. So this is something that you need to understand. So just to conclude this, the salary component is 11 to 15 lakhs or 14.5 lakhs per annum plus the bonus, and the bonus can be somewhere around 2 to 5 lakhs per annum, and that depends on your power of negotiation or who is basically negotiating for you, right? Okay, now moving ahead to other tiered firm, like say tier 2, tier 3 or relatively known firm, the ones that we've generally heard of. There, the salary component usually ranges around 6 to 7 lakhs per annum. So you don't need to self-reject yourself and quote like say 3 lakhs per annum, 2 lakhs per annum or like 4 lakhs per annum. Definitely you should do your research in places like Glassdoor or other places. I'll link all the places where you can do your salary research. and on the basis of that you should figure out that what the salary is. But yes, if you're not sure, a ballpark figure that you can quote for somebody like say a relatively known firm or a tier 3 tier 2 firm is 6 to 7 lakhs per annum. Now let's come to other firms that we've never heard of, or somebody who's a little exploitative in nature. There is no component. Essentially, I wouldn't even say exploitative, it's a little bizarre that how are they calculating those salaries. They would start somewhere around say 2 lakhs per annum, and like 2.5 lakhs per annum, 3 lakhs per annum, etc., right? So that is something that you need to understand, that whether you want to be in that organization or not, because your current CTC also impacts your future CTC, right? Like say if your current CTC is very low, nobody is going to give you like say 300% or 400% hike and bring you to the industry standard that usually is. So you need to understand that if you are picking an organization, just check what the salary is and is it actually in accordance to the industry standards or not. So I've seen people getting salaries like 5,000 rupees per month, 4,000 rupees per month also when they are joining those organizations, because obviously not everybody has the chance and opportunity to get employed by a bigger firm. But yes, you should be very well aware of that it's a little exploitative in nature, and you actually get to earn better salary, which is say somewhere around 6 to 7 lakhs per annum, right? Now with that said, we are done with law firms. Let's move ahead to litigation chambers. Now litigation chambers, again, there is no sort of thumb rule that you are going to get this much as a fixed salary in a litigation chamber. There are some states, like say in the state of Rajasthan, in the state of say Punjab, Haryana, there is sometimes a practice that lawyers wouldn't even pay you anything. They would tell you that you are coming to our office and we are teaching you so much, so don't expect anything from us in terms of payment. So they would not even sometimes pay for your travel expenses, your expenses for petrol and anything, when you have to reach the court on your own vehicle, etc. So that's very exploitative in my understanding. So you need to decide whether you actually want to join the chamber or not, whether the learning is so much that you can forego the money at that point in time. But yes, in places like Delhi, Bombay, etc., the minimum standard is somewhere around 10 to 25,000. Lawyers would start paying you, like if you are a fresher and if you have no experience, anything ranging between 10 to 25,000. However, on the other hand, in niche practice areas like taxation, etc., lawyers even pay up till 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 rupees per month as well, which is, I think, in my understanding, very good. As in the litigation space, nobody pays you that much as these niche lawyers would pay you. And lastly, of course, a lot of lawyers, like say senior lawyers, would pay you anything ranging between 40 to 70,000 rupees per month. So this is the understanding of the litigation side of the law. Now let's come on to the teaching side of the law, which is say if you become an assistant professor, if you become a faculty with any university. Of course, the pay rates, would be very different for government universities, because then you're on the pay commission. But if we talk about the private universities, you can get anything ranging between, or say even national law universities, you can get anything ranging between 25,000 rupees per month till 1 lakh, or 1,10,000, 1,15,000 rupees per month if it's a private university or say an NLU, right? So you have to decide that what is your bargaining power, how much can you negotiate, how much is the industry standard that's set by them, what is the band that they are usually following for their own employees that are already employed with them. And mind you, they don't even call you employees, because sometimes if say a national law university wouldn't call you an employee, because then they would have to put you under the pay commission, so they would hire you as a contractual worker. So you need to understand that what is the capacity on which you're getting hired, and do government norms apply to you or not, and accordingly you can get paid, right? So you need to be very well aware on that. But the range that I have usually noticed is 25,000 to 1 lakh, and that is where all the universities fall mostly, right? Now moving on to the next and the very most interesting, according to me, is the legal researcher position at a high court or the Supreme Court. Now most of the high courts have increased their pays to somewhere around like say 50,000 until 65,000, and I think in my understanding Supreme Court also pays 65,000 rupees per month to their legal researchers. However, there are certain high courts, I am not sure of the names, but yes, there are certain high courts that still pay you around 15,000, 20,000, 35,000 rupees per month. So you have to decide accordingly that which high court suits you, why are you even doing the clerkship, and whether it's helping you in your future goals or not. And then accordingly take on that position. But yes, Delhi High Court has recently increased it to 65,000, and Supreme Court was always, I think, around 65,000 per month rupees. Now, and lastly, let's talk about the big fours and the companies. Now these people usually have a band, and the starting salary would be, say, somewhere around 6 to 7 lakhs per annum. The big four is, say, the KPMG, EY, etc. The starting salary would be somewhere around that. You would do contractual stuff, contract drafting, due diligence, litigation management, etc. This kind of a role. However, on the other hand, I have very recently noticed that some of the big fours have started offering salaries as low as, like, say, 2.5 lakhs per annum, 3 lakhs per annum, etc. Right? So you need to understand that the job profile that the person who's getting, say, 2.5 lakhs per annum as against the person who's getting 7 lakhs per annum is not the same. Even if you are getting hired on the same legal position, the profile would be very different. In the lower band of the salary, what I've noticed is they make you do a lot of work that is sometimes non-legal and sometimes compliance related also, right? However, when you get to do a work that is on the higher band of the salary, you get to do some work that is extremely, first of all, legal in nature, and is something that pertains to the area for which you were hired. Say if you were hired for contract drafting, you actually sit down and draft contracts. If you're hired for, say, say a due diligence, you actually sit down and do the due diligence for all those corporate transactions that are taking place. But yes, the two types of salaries is 2.5 lakhs, 3 lakhs per annum, and on the other hand, the higher range and the proper legal role, gives you around 6 to 7 lakhs per annum as a starting salary, right? And the last thing that is very increasingly becoming popular with students is LPOs. LPOs is legal processing outsourcing units, wherein, say, you help entities that are established in the US, in the UK, in Australia. You do the back end work for them. It's sometimes not even legal in nature. It's very clerical in nature. They pay you a lot, like, say, a lot in the sense they pay you more than any litigation office. Like, say, they would pay you somewhere around 35 to 50,000 rupees per month. And a lot of students think that it's a very good and lucrative option for very less work that they're doing. But what they don't understand is that they are going to get employed. What are the chances of growth in this organization, and what are they helping towards, right? So if the goals are not getting aligned in that, if there is no scope of growth, you can't climb the corporate ladder, and you have to continue doing the same work all throughout your life, does that 50,000 rupee job matter more, or a job which pays you a little less that actually helps you increase the skill set matters more, right? So obviously it's a trade-off, it's a choice, it's a privilege question that is there, and I'll make a detailed video about LPOs at some point in time. But yes, with that said, I think we've reached the end of today's video. If you have any more video suggestions, please place them in the comments. And if you want to book any mentorship calls, if you want to book any interview coaching calls, etc., resume drafting services, cover letter drafting services, any help with your statement of purposes, or your scholarship statements, etc., letter of recommendations, etc., please reach out to me. And I'm available on Instagram as Career Solutions by Aashna Jain, and on LinkedIn as Aashna Jain itself.